All right, confession slash rant time. I don't understand, I don't get how normal people, can just leave junk food and pizza and leftover Chinese food, like leftover takeaway food, just in the house for later. What the hell is that? I don't get it. I've never in my entire life been able to do that, and I've never understood it. When I used to eat like an absolute beast, I couldn't fathom, I'd have my two large pizzas, family sized pizzas there that I'm going to demolish, or, a massive burger and fries and wings and whatever, and, I'm about to just absolutely delete it. It never occurred to me that I could eat some of it and then leave the rest, in the fridge or whatever for tomorrow. I just don't get it. I think there's something wrong with me, because when I go to people's houses, friends, family, whatever, and these people are normal. I open the fridge and they've got like leftover pizza in there from the night before, or like, you go into their pantry and they've got like bags of chips just sitting there, like half opened. You get those like things from the supermarket where you can like seal a bag of chips or something that have been opened. Like what? Why? How can you do that? I have no idea how people can do that. I remember when I used to live in London, and I had a housemate who was one of these, normies, and he would go shopping and he would buy his groceries for the week, and part of his groceries would be like a packet of cookies, like they were chocolate chip cookies. He had chocolate chip and he had peppermint chocolate chip, like two, I can't remember the flavors, but he had two flavors, and he'd leave it in the pantry, right? And every few days he would go in there and he'd have like one cookie, after work while we're watching TV. And I would open the pantry and I would see like there's like, a half-eaten packet of cookies sitting there for like a week. I'm like, what the hell? Like one day I had such a craving for them, because once I discovered them in the pantry the first time, all I could think about every time I came home from work or was sitting on the couch or whatever, all I could think of was there's some cookies sitting there in the pantry, and no one's gonna eat them. He'll leave them there for like a week, 2 weeks at a time before he eats another one. Like I was going mad. I couldn't focus on anything while there's a bunch of uneaten cookies sitting in the pantry. That's madness. One day I actually I said I'll just have one, just one. So I'd made myself a cup of tea, as you do in England, and I stole one of his cookies and I was eating it, dipping it into the tea. It was amazing. And then I said, I'll have another one, because he's just left them there. So I had another one, and about 10 minutes later I'd eaten the whole packet, and I'd opened his second packet that was unopened, and I've finished those two. It took me maybe 20 minutes. I finished a packet and a half of cookies, and I didn't have the balls to tell him. I was really embarrassed, and so he came home from work, and he went into his pantry, and I was sitting on the couch, and I was like really tense and anxious, because I was like, oh no, he's going to see it and he's going to say something. Because something came over me where I threw the first packet out, but the second packet, I just left it there empty. And I kind of like left it there in a way that, like, if you didn't touch it, it'd look like it was still a full packet. And I was watching TV and I could hear him rummaging through the pantry, and then I heard the crunch of that cookie packet that I'd left there, and I was like, oh, fuck.
Yum.
And he didn't say anything. He made dinner, came and sat down, we had a good chat, whatever, watched TV, we went to bed, and he didn't say anything. And the next day I felt so guilty. I brought it up with him the next evening, and he said, oh yeah, I noticed that. Like, oh, that was you, was it? I was like, yeah. Like, I'm going to go shopping later, so I'll get you the cookies. And he was like, yeah, that's cool, like, whatever. But I just felt so guilty. And that's one of the first times probably maybe the first time ever in my life I realized that I'm not normal. Like, I really couldn't focus when I knew that those cookies were in the house. And to this day, I mean, that was over 10 years ago. To this day, I can't do it. Even on this journey, losing all this weight, I'm now, I didn't give the update. So this is week 15. I'm down 21 kilos. And I didn't give the update. I'm on this, being on this journey and losing all this weight. Like, my motivation's really high, right? Because I'm losing somewhere between 1.5 and 2 kilos a week. And so my motivation's really high. I don't have any cravings to go in when I'm at the supermarket. I don't have cravings to buy cookies or whatever. But I still know for myself, I can't, even when I transition back to, normal eating or whatever, I don't think it's something that I can do where I can just have a bunch of half-eaten cookies lying around in the house. Or I can't have like leftover pizza or takeaway food just sitting in the fridge for the next day. I can't do it. Something I'm going to have to deal with, but I don't understand people that can do this. And to be honest, it's causing me a bit of anxiety to know that, I'm going to have to become a normal person at some point when it comes to eating and food. And I'm going to have to become a person who can have some takeaway every now and then and not finish it. I was speaking to a friend the other day and they were like, why don't you you can have your takeout every now and then, right? You can have your takeout every now and then, but just order a normal amount, eat half of it and put the rest away. And I'm like, I don't know how to do, if I knew how to do that, maybe I wouldn't be in this situation in the first place. I've got a real problem. I don't, maybe, you can tell me in the comments below how I can deal with this, but I'm just hoping that magically I come out the other side of this and I've changed and I'll be okay with it, but I'm not convinced that I will be. So, this is, it started off as a rant and now it's kind of ended as more of a philosophical question of, can I be that kind of person? Do I want to be that kind of person? Yes, but I don't know how to be. But also at the same time, I didn't know at the beginning of this journey how I would be someone who could eat salads and protein and very little carbs and almost no sugar. That wasn't me either. So if I can become that person and be someone who doesn't crave burgers and chips and stuff, I've become that person. I didn't know how to do that when I started. So maybe by the end of this journey, I can be someone who can eat a little bit of junk food and leave the rest for later. I almost feel like if I was to eat half of something bad, I should really just throw the other half out. I shouldn't be leaving it in the house. I don't know. Maybe it's something I have to think about. But it's definitely causing me some low-level anxiety about how I'm going to deal with that. Tell me in the comments how I should.